have a person that's been acting in that capacity for us. And I'm gonna let Roger introduce Kara. Appreciate you coming tonight too, so thank you.
My pleasure.
Right, so Kara Atkinson is our high school French teacher, and if you were on the board 2 years ago, you might recall that you appointed her back in the summer before last, so this is her second year. But Kara has been working here more than that. Kara also served a year, maybe a little over a year, in a long-term sub-role in the same classroom, teaching the same classes. So we're just thrilled to have you back, and permanently. She wasn't Kara Atkinson at the time, so congratulations on your recent marriage. And recently, Kara has come to me, along with Jenny Lawrence, with our high school Spanish teacher, with a number of terrific ideas that they're working on and moving forward on. And so, along with the board goals that have asked for this kind of update, Kara has been working in this direction now. And so I'm going to let her take it from here. But I know you have a lot of some of those ideas, some of them in practice, and some of them still in the idea stage that you're happy to. I know you were.
And right now, I'm just talking about the international coordinator position. Okay. So thank you, by the way, for having me tonight. And I know the district and the board has wanted to continue the presence of international students and just having that intercultural experience for our students. So I'm happy to take on that role, but Roger and I, and then Senora Lawrence and I have also been talking about just ideas of what that role would be. Some of them are very obvious. So you probably already know some of these. So one would be just help finding host families. That would be a major priority because that's one of the hardest things about this until we establish just a pool of host families. That's probably going to be our #1 challenge in recruiting international students here. So that's one of the main things I'll be working on in conjunction with Karen and just basically anyone who wants to help and put out the word for that. So finding and coordinating with host families. Once students are here, I would act as, or this person would act as their guide and mentor here while they're in school. So just help adjusting, especially definitely in the beginning of the year, of the academic year, whenever they're here, or semester, but then also throughout the year. And that could also potentially include even English as a second language, like potentially help with that. So right now the program that we work with is Educatious, and that's just been in play, and since they have students who are interested in coming, right now there are 3 students that we know about that are interested in coming, and 1 that we have more or less secured. And one student from Educatious is from Chile, 1 is from China. The one from Chile is the one that we have secured, and then 1 also that we know about that is from Vietnam. So Educatious is one part of it, but this would also include, so this role would also include being the liaison for other potential international student opportunities. So have you talked before about with the board about the North Country experience?
Not too much.
Not too much, okay.
But it's a possibility.
Okay, but so not necessarily associated with the program that we've already been using, but other potential international student opportunities. Should I explain that? Or
well, we've had some.
Really?
We've had some conversations with North Country School, and they're interested in bringing in more international students. And we've talked about the possibility. And it's really just a possibility in the conversation right now. Possibility of some of the students who would live there actually come to the school here as a different option. And I think, and so we talked about how the Educatious piece would just be one of other possible options, like the North Country School option of how we could bring in more international students and support them while they're here.
And so, and other programs like that we could potentially explore that would be shorter term, and not necessarily associated with the program that we've already been working with that is for the semester or the academic year. So that would also be in that role. Let's see, the other, and this one is just pretty nebulous at this point, but I'm very interested in this part as well. And I talked to you a little bit about it, just in my interest in it. I'm also definitely very interested in helping our students pursue potentially a semester or an academic year abroad or a gap year abroad. And so I have several students that are pretty interested in that idea. It's usually not a vast number of students, it's usually just a handful of students that are interested in that, but they don't necessarily have the means to figure out how to pursue that. And so that's where I think this coordinator could also come in, is help coordinating that role, or help coordinating that type of experience. And I've already been in contact a little bit with the Rotary Club because they do some exchanges, so this could be potentially any program, but helping our students pursue that type of opportunity. And then I envision that sort of being those students that potentially would go away for a semester or an academic year abroad or even a gap year, or have it be a part of their senior project, potentially coming back and kind of acting again as ambassadors of just intercultural exchange and linguistic exchange here for our students. So it's kind of the opposite of education, helping some of our students go abroad. But again, not for a short term, like a week or that sort of thing on a school trip. It would be more so for studying actually in a foreign country for an extended period of time. And that's, I don't know if the French club stuff falls under that, or if we decided that was sort of going with the travel club.
Kara wanted to limit her comments to just some of the things that she would see underneath the heading of international coordinator, but she has other ideas too, and a lot of them involve student clubs,
Yeah,
French club.
so I know, wasn't sure,
travel
but
club, yeah.
just some of the other things that we've done, but, so I won't
Yeah.
really mention that stuff, but, specifically under French club, but, cause I'm not really sure where that falls. That's not an official club right now, but I have a handful of students that are just, very actively involved in what we're calling French club. And, basically we do everything from, they create the bulletin board for me, that's out in the hall. They decide on that stuff. We do dinner, and we've done dinners and movies where we do, like a Saturday, and we've cooked, full course meals and watched movies, and, they're gonna, do one of the gardens, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think, does anybody have any questions about, probably less about this French club part of it, and more so about the international student exchange part?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Is there an ideal age where they go? Is it a senior year thing when they come to visit?
Oh, for the
actual kids coming to visit? Are
so
they coming?
so kids coming here to visit,
What's
right?
the average age or year
Okay,
that's optimum?
so there's a precedent already for this, so this is relatively new to me, so I'm still catching up. But I know when we talked about it, the ideal age was 11th or 12th grade, I know that we were looking for. Education does deal with students that are younger, but I know it was just a precedent, I think, and at some point, I don't know what the history is exactly, but I think we just.
Yeah. It was foreign exchange students, AFS, and AFS is a program that we used to deal with, with exchange students here, and they really targeted seniors, kids that were 17 or 18 years old.
Okay.
They didn't really want younger ones.
Okay,
Pretty
no, we're talking about kids coming here, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, just making sure, okay.
Yeah, well, and AFS did the same thing. It was and that's why we didn't have very many kids take advantage of it, because it always happened during their senior year, and that was a year that they didn't want to go.
And we've continued that in practice, whether it's ideal or not, that's a good question. We have you know, we've looked at some of the complications that do tend to arise as a normal part of having a host family and a member of the family from overseas. And so we've, I guess, kind of established that for us, right now, we're more confident that the older kids are gonna have a stable experience than the younger kids. It wouldn't necessarily be 100% true, but that's kind of where
Right.
we've landed.
Mhm.
That's what Kara's talking about with Preston. Started in the days of AFS, and we've continued that with education.
Sure, thank you.
And my question centered around the host families. One of the strengths of the AFS program, I thought, was the support that they provided all the way through for both parties, both the student as well as the host family. So would you see this person filling that role also?
Definitely, yeah, I do, and well, specifically with education too, they have, they want and need a point person, and it doesn't have to be me, but I have said that I will be that person, so that's specific to education, that wouldn't be necessarily part of the other parts of this coordinator. So yes, and that person is gonna be me unless somebody else wants to do it, but I'm happy to do it.
And so far, nobody else has come.
Okay, so, but yeah, so that's directly through education, so that's the person, I'm guessing AFS, I actually was an AFSer too, by the way, in high school, so, but I was on the other end, but I'm sure that they had a point person, right?
They did,
I'm
yes. They
imagining, okay.
had somebody that they would go to, and if the host family had difficulties or had questions, they could go to that person.
Okay,
But they also had like district-wide meetings where they would bring all of the parents together, the host
Okay.
parents together, and they could just sit down and talk, and the big district person could just say, okay, it's getting to be Christmas time, you can expect that your student's going to be homesick.
okay,
And-
yeah.
And, you know, so different times of the year, they just kind of prepared you for what was coming down the road.
And I think I have, like I said, so I've been on the other end, I've been an exchange student twice, and then I was also, when I was in high school, we had an exchange student, but now I'm gonna be in the others. I have a little bit of experience, but I have definitely a lot to learn. But I know that there's another person in Keene, and then we have a regional person. But I think as the program grows, and I think we only plan on growing as far as we're comfortable, in terms of just, right now, it's maybe 1, 2, or 3, I think, we had capped it at kind of 3, the idea for now, just to kind of get the program going, I think.
Good.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Thank you, it's very
Okay.
exciting.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
I'm
really
excited
very
too.
exciting.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so thank you, yeah, thanks. All right, so, we're going to, as some of you that didn't realize, we are going to move the discussion of the athletic mergers to this point, so that, because several people came and this will allow them to have that discussion and presentation, and then they can go on to bigger and better things if they want. So Roger, I guess you can,
Sure, so, thanks, Kara.
thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
So our athletic director, Donna Moody, brought these issues to me, I don't know, a month or two ago, and I suggested that we get the information to the board and to the public, so that the issues about merging the girls hockey team, as well as the possibility of including like Class 2 kids in the Saturday Night football team, could be discussed, and any concerns could be raised, and we could talk about those types of things. So just big overview. The reasons for the merger, and again, we've provided you with document, and so hopefully a lot more of the details there, but probably the number one driving reason for the merger is that both programs are seeing dwindling numbers. And although that we know we have enough in both programs for next year to have full teams, down the road, it doesn't look like that would be the case. And so the athletic directors and the coaches have been talking about the merger being a way to allow girls in both schools to continue to play. So that's also the why now. The why now question came up in terms of why we would do it now instead of down the road. That we're really talking about really next year being an option and the year after that being a necessity or lose the program. And so the idea was that this would give us a year to really put things together and make it work. It wouldn't be an absolute necessity, but it would be an optional way to bring the two schools together into this combined unit. And then finally, as far as what it would look like, there's a lot of details on the document that we provided. But this would be different from the other mergers that the board's approved in terms of this would be really, instead of being one group of athletes becoming a part of another school's program, this would really be bringing two programs together to create a team of its own and its own identity. And that's where its own uniforms come in, and would really share coaches as well. So the idea being that one coach from Saranac Lake, one coach from Lake Placid would participate. There's many more ideas that I know, or details that are in these documents, but that's sort of the long and the short of it. So it would be a true 50-50 merger rather than one team dominating and the other. So right now, we do work with Saranac Lake in tennis, but it's really our team. Saranac Lake kids play on our team that wear our uniforms. The opposite is true of lacrosse. So this would really be different from those two. And then as far as the possible football merger, again, this is coming from interest in both schools, from our school, from a handful of boys who have expressed an interest in playing football and don't have the opportunity